Hello and welcome to Take It From the Top.
The Singer's Guide to Working, Thriving and Surviving in the Industry.
Don't forget to hit subscribe and head over to our YouTube channel where you can make us rethink our wardrobe with your comments and questions.
How could they possibly? Hayley, should we take it from the top?
Let's do it.
This episode is all about the differences between working in the studio and working in live performance, because they are massively different, aren't they?
Hugely different.
And I think between us, we're a good 50-50. I mean, I'm very much live. Your studio and live, we've got plenty of stuff we can chat about.
We have.
So, okay, let's have a think about the difference then. What performer-wise, approach to your art, what is different?
Where should we start? Should we start with one? Should we start
Let's go live.
Live performances. Yeah. Okay.
You got one chance.
Exactly.
Unlike a podcast, but apparently not, because we're...
Yeah, live, you have to be in the moment, I think. Some of my favourite singers are the ones that are completely in it when they are performing. They don't get distracted. Distraction is the worst thing. So we were talking about red light fever, right?
We were, yeah.
So this can happen in the studio and also on stage. If you get the little voices in your head, it's the worst thing possible. The second those seeds of doubt start popping in, it can just be a nightmare. And again, it's difficult when we talk about live performance in general, because if you're in theatre, for example, you are a character. And in some ways, I find it easier to do that because you are somebody else. There's less doubt because it's not just you. Does that make sense? I find that
really interesting, because I don't at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, because I've done both cabaret, I've done a lot of cabaret, and I've done theatre. And I find cabaret easiest because all I've got to go out there and do is be me.
Really?
Yeah, and I can do that. And I can, and as you know, you gagging to talk about Gladys, so I'll bring her in.
Well, nobody knows who Gladys is yet. So
Gladys Carpet Bowles. She's world famous, darling. She's well known across the whole sphere. So she's my alter ego. I sometimes dress up as a woman and have jollies on stage.
But that's a character.
It's a character. It is, and it's not.
So it's a character, though.
It is, and
that's
it's
your
not.
alter ego.
It is, but
it's not Gavin being vulnerable.
I can still, but it feels like me. She's no different. She's just me in a dress and a wig.
Yeah, but she's your confident you.
Yeah.
I'm
not exactly shy and retiring.
No, you're not. But again, it's like it's all the parts of you that you're most confident with that you are bringing onto stage. So I think the difference. So for example, if I'm on the TV show, the dancing one, and I have to be Liza Minnelli in Cabaret, for example. Normally, I put a picture up of one of the Yeah. Well, actually, I do. I don't know why, but for her, I put up a picture of Tim Curry in Rocky Horror Show. I don't know why, but I do, because his fabulousness is what I use to create that character. I don't know why. Okay. It's really random, but that's what I do. And so when I become her, I can suddenly do it. Yet when I have to go on stage as myself, you have to connect so deeply with the lyric, because one thing I hate is when singers pick a song just because, it's got a big note, or I can riff and I can show off. And it's like, yes, that's brilliant. You're very talented. Well done. But what's the song about, right? So when you're picking songs, repertoire, firstly, pick something that you can relate to, that you understand. And then the difficulty is to then relate to it truthfully in front of an audience. Yeah. Everyone's watching you and you have to be so vulnerable and so honest. And sometimes you hit that moment and sometimes you don't. There are certain singers that do it all the time, but that's why I think they are the most famous singers on earth. You've got Joni Mitchell, you've got Nina Simone, you've got these singers that are completely...
People who just do not go wrong.
And then we've talked about sort of spiritual singers before as well. When people are singing for God, what I've noticed is they're not singing for themselves, they're not singing for ego, so they're singing for something bigger than themselves. Yeah. Like Mavis Staples is one of my favourite singers of all time, and when she sings, it's not an ego thing. So that's what I want to have on stage. I want to connect with the song. I want the audience to understand my story or the story. You are the storyteller at that point. And if you're not the storyteller, then you're not doing your job properly.
But okay, let's go back a bit, because you talked about the greats.
Yes.
Your perception is that they don't go wrong, or that they are not in that. I bet if you had one of them here and said, how many, give me out of 10 performances.
Well, whether they have moments of doubt.
Yeah, how many of them do you go away going, nailed that? Because I bet they're exactly the same as you or I. And because of perhaps even heightened because the expectation of them is so high.
I think with young singers now, maybe, because everything's recorded.
Yeah.
Everything is put out there. And also everyone expects something to sound of record quality.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old days, when you were an artist, you could go out and each time you played a song, it would probably sound different. You'd take it in a different, like the older artists I work with that aren't working to click tracks, that don't have a strict 2-minute 30 performance to do.
Yeah.
They let the music happen. The solo will go on for longer. Someone will play differently. Someone will sing it differently. They might bring it down one night in tempo. I love that.
That's amazing.
So I think the older artists had that time to be themselves and connect with the song. Whereas now it's like, if you don't sing it like how I'm used to it from the audience perspective, then you've failed.
Yeah.
Even, and we do talk about like Wicked, Idina Menzel. Oh my gosh, that song, Defying Gravity. People are expecting to hear that exactly the same. And if you do not nail it, you are in trouble. And I know, because I didn't nail it and I was in trouble and I got the red light fever, and it was so depressing.
Yeah.
Especially because, and I think the biggest problem was, I was in it, and then I got to the note and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going so well. Terrible. Don't come out of it.
No.
And then I went wrong.
But there's moments like that in so many songs, like, when you get to Seasons of Love, and you get da ba 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 ba, and it suddenly screams up.
Yes.
I'm so glad that I will never ever have to sing that, because that would be the same thing for me as Defying Gravity. You'd have that moment where you go doubt, 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 doubt until it's done.
But with that particular piece, in my mind, how it should be, if that's an improv line, whoever did that at the start, someone improvised it. Why should someone have to repeat it every time? Surely it's about improvise. And this is my.
But that's where Defying Gravity's done the same thing, because if you go and see, each Elphaba now
will sing it that way.
Well, no, we'll sing it their own way.
Really?
Yeah. You go through videos on YouTube of all the different Elphabas doing that bit, and some
the
very
war
sad
cry,
person.
they now call it.
Yeah, is that what they war cry?
Yeah.
And there's like 11, 12 minutes of different Elphabas doing it their way.
Yes.
And I love that. Very early on, Kerry Ellis kind of went in and kind of went, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Because...
Well, that's important. And I do think you should have that freedom. And I think musical theatre used to have a lot more freedom. Like, if you go and watch Bernadette Peters in something, don't expect to just hear it exactly as written or what was before, or any performer. She will bring to it what Bernadette's going to bring to it, and it's so unique and it's so brilliant. But now I feel there's so much now the any show is so big and it's expected to be a certain way, and I feel it's almost like painting by numbers. And that's why a lot of my friends in the West End say we like to do the original part. We want to be the first person to play the character rather than the third.
And it's it's one of my big beefs with using tracks for shows, and as much as it's stealing our jobs, but it makes it rigid. It makes every single show. And as much as an orchestra and a band, every single band I've ever been in, the one thing we strive to do is to make sure that every single performance is exactly the same. Because, you and I grew up with a certain person saying they've all paid their £12.50. Inflation, it was probably about £7.50 back then. But and it is true. Everyone has to have exactly the same performance. But with live performing, there is always that element of it's going to be slightly different. It's going to be unique, and it's got to be.
Well, in jazz, there's complete freedom.
Yeah.
It will never be the same. And I love that idea. I love that sort of sensibility and just brilliance and improvisation in music. Like, that's what I love about it. So I find it really difficult that now even you go and do a wedding gig and everything's to click and there's medleys and everyone's so strict. And I understand they want to put on the best performance. As you say, it needs to be the same every time. It needs to be slick. It needs to be tight. But what I love is, the freedom in music.
When we get married, not you and me, I mean, me and the producer. Hello, darling.
It's how he got the job.
I know, right? Who, him or me? But, if we were to have a band, I would want a band that would be live, improvised, slightly on edge. So I'm getting their performance, not just, I want this song, and therefore I'm going to have it exactly as they did it at the last wedding or the wedding before. I want that kind of musicality about it.
But the audiences nowadays expect it.
They do.
They expect to hear something exactly. And that's really difficult as a performer to then recreate those moments.
Yeah.
That's almost impossible. So it puts an extra pressure on the artist, I think. So for live performances now, I think it's quite difficult. It depends what genre you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're all quite different, aren't they? Theatre, jazz,
absolutely.
pop.
So one thing I just want to talk about before we go on to talking about studio session work with live performance is stamina, and how that comes into play. Because one of the things that Renée Fleming, one of my absolute idols, big opera singer, had done opera all of her life, some of the biggest operas, and she did her first piece of musical theatre in 2016-17, and she went to Carousel, and she wore a head mic for the first time in her life.
I bet she hated it.
No, she loved it.
Did she? She didn't have to project. And in opera, quite often, people like her will only do 3 or 4 performances a week because they are working so hard. And they don't rehearse before 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
She went into this and she sort of was interviewed and went, I do 6 shows a week. It's amazing. And I can perform because I don't have to shout because I've got this microphone thing. And it is different, live performance and stamina and keeping yourself healthy. In what you do you kind of cope with that, deal with that kind of?
I think because I started gigging, like I say, at the age of 12, I was so used to gigging. I'm doing the pubs and clubs, or I was doing the theatre. I was just used to lots and lots of shows. And then after the girl band, when I moved to London, I could be doing a session throughout the day, maybe 2 sessions, and then heading off to live gigs, maybe 2 venues a night. I mean, this was when I was young and in demand, but I was, and you'd be the only singer on the gig. So you'd have to do a full 2 50 minutes or 2 1-hour sets all by yourself, constant singing. So you just became tough. You just had to do it. Whereas now I know on some gigs, there's like 8 singers on wedding gigs now, and they all do like 2 songs each. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like heaven. Yeah. Strictly, again, like Saturday is like a 14-hour day. There is no time to warm up. And I always say this when we're in at 9 having to belt, and they're like, can you sing it like you're going to sing it tonight? And I'm like, not really, not really, but I will.
I'll be warmed up by then. I'll be knackered.
Say, if I was an opera singer, they wouldn't have us in at this time of the morning.
They would. They would. But yeah, I mean, I think
it's just doing it, having the stamina. And obviously you have to look after yourself. You have to drink water. You watch some people that they've got a real routine that they have to do, and they have traditions, or they have steamers. Everyone's got the steamers, the nebulizers, the straws. Everyone's got all their gadgets.
Singing into a cup of water now is ridiculously huge. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah. Well, and I think some people are doing it wrong as well. Like I would like to get Kim Chandler on as well at some point. She's a vocal health specialist.
Say, a whole episode on vocal health would be amazing.
And I know that she's kicked off recently on Facebook about the straw scenario, because all the different sizes do different things. Yes. I cheat. Kim would tell me off for this, but I have used the straw to warm up in hotel rooms because I don't want to belt because of people next door to me. Sure. So I'm doing a quiet warm up. But it's actually like, it can really help if you've got got vocal damage. But yeah, you have to know what you're doing and preferably go to a professional to find out which straw you need at which point. You know, you can't just shove these things in you, and everyone's having sweets. Oh, I have a Strepsil. It's like filled with sugar. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it's just water and sleep. It's water and sleep.
It is. Yeah, no, we should absolutely do a whole episode on vocal health because I think that's really, really important. So that probably is a nice segue then into comparing that with studio work because, you know, you are a studio musician. So
I thought you were going to say something fabulous like, you are a studio queen. No.
So you are a studio musician and a studio queen.
I have worked in the studios.
Okay. Comparing what we've just talked about, how does that kind of compare to the studio world in terms of what you do and the role? And
I mean, again, it depends on the setting and what the job is. So I do a lot of remote recording. So I've got my own setup at home, which is probably my favourite space to work in, just because when you're engineering yourself, you know when you're going to finish a take, you know where you want to start from, you know what you're going to do. You have especially when you've got a creative idea. So if you're going to arrange something, and I get super excited and the idea is just running in my head. If you're in a studio with producer, artist, all the things, everyone has to have a discussion about each part, and then we all, should we try this as well? And blah, blah, blah. But when I'm on my own, I can just get it down really quickly and just press record, go, next part, track that, next part, add a harmony, next part, let's do this, let's try this. That doesn't work, delete, start again. So I love that process on my own. Yeah. It's really exciting. And I definitely don't get red light fever there.
Do you not?
Not on my own. Because it doesn't matter if I go wrong.
No.
It doesn't matter. There's no one there. Apart from the cat.
But I think is that not like the main comparison you'd make between the two though? That one is very high pressure, it's intense. The other is, you've got second chance. You've always got that second chance. You can always take it again.
But that's when I'm remote recording or all by myself. If I go into a studio where someone's paying, you can walk into Abbey Road or Air Studio and they only have a certain amount of time. Again, it might be with a producer or a conductor, a composer that you don't know, and you have to impress them. So then you get the red light fever. So that's like, because again, it depends. If you know the people really well, it's all fine. But if it's a new environment, new people, and if you're singing with the band or the orchestra at the same time, you've got to just nail it. So it's the same feeling. It's the red light thing.
But there is always that backup. If it all goes horribly wrong.
Not time-wise, though.
No, true. But
if you've only got X amount of time to do it in, and there might be other people, especially if it's a speedy session, and they've got next person coming in after you, or the next instrument, or, whatever they're doing, they'll have a strict order of what they do. So that's why you've got to be super, super quick as well for studio work.
And these days, just how much music is produced by people doing their contributions to recordings in isolation at home or using home studios?
Loads, especially since COVID. I was doing it before COVID, and then the second COVID hit, everyone was like, what mic shall I buy? What system shall I? And I was like,
I'm not
actually, I was quite helpful. I was helpful to people.
I'm not like my whole life changed because I had to learn how to. I used a lot of recording equipment but because of that, I had to learn so much that I didn't know before, because even live performances were changing to the point where we had to be able to do that kind of stuff and learn it quickly.
It's good fun if you like that sort of thing, if you like layering vocals or recording your own songs, and it's so good for like sending ideas across to people and working with someone at your own pace. When you're young and you can travel whenever and you haven't got commitments, it's fine. And it's nice going into the studio working with people, but to actually fit it into real life as you get older, that's quite difficult.
Yeah, so when I was training, there were two types of music degree. There was music and there was music technology. Right. And there the twain shall meet.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Surely you would just put them together. Because...
In those days, you had the sort of music tech sort of people who just spent their whole time learning how to do everything on computers, learning how the programs work. And then we learned how to do the performance side, the directing side, the theory side, and they just didn't ever meet in the middle, because now you could not do a music degree without having some kind of technology.
I had a sound engineer once. I was like, I need this instrument a bit higher, please. And he put it up. And then I was like, no, I just need it up a tiny, tiny bit. And he was like, oh, well, I'll put it up 10 or whatever. And I was like, what do you mean to put it up 10? Like, I need it less than that. I don't need that much. Well, when I was at college, they taught me that you wouldn't notice the difference. Mm-hmm. It's like everyone's an individual. Yeah. You have to treat... And then where you place a microphone on an instrument, like each room is different. There isn't a rule.
But that is kind of a
hangover.
So
surely if
days.
You've got two departments that are so close, if they were working together, singers need to know what mics suit them. Like, it's not just, I'm going to sound brilliant on this microphone. No. You might not. You might sound better on a ribbon. You might sound better. It's just madness that they're not working, especially in this day and age, that you're not working together.
But I'm talking 20 years ago, but I don't know whether it's changed that much in the last 5 to 10 years. But it was a real sort of us and them feeling. And the limited studio work I've had, I've always had that sort of don't piss off the techies.
No, you shouldn't. Never.
But not even in like expressing an opinion.
Because your life is in their hands.
Absolutely.
At that point. And it's great when you meet a team that work really well together. Dave Tench, who's a brilliant MD as well, he does the voice and stuff. There's a little team of 3 of them. So one of them's doing the arranging really quickly, change parts like for horns as they're going. Dave's like mixing with the band, playing and talking, and then they've got a sort of guy doing all the engineering, and they work so well together. They're amazing. It's so brilliant to see.
You totally need that.
Oh yeah, if you get the perfect team and it just runs smoothly, and especially if you're doing TV things. We did the Hannah Waddingham Christmas special.
Yes, I remember.
For the Apple show, and that was the team on it, and they were just so super quick.
You do need that.
So super quick.
But I think they're a rare breed. Those,
it's just meeting people. It's that team. They're like the Beatles.
But I've worked in so many theatres where I've gotten really, really well with the tech crew, because I'm one of these people that will go in and will say hello to everyone, introduce myself, and be really nice to everyone, because I was brought up with that whole idea of if you know the waiter's name, they'll give you good service. And
absolutely.
I take that into kind of theatre work, and I will introduce myself, be nice to everyone. And I've had so many tech people say to me afterwards, it's been really nice to work with you, because you're actually quite nice. Because I think musicians have this little bit of a reputation for being a bit, we want you're the sound department, you are our servants, and you will make us sound good. And then, so I think there has to be
a mutual respect.
Absolutely.
From both sides. And that is difficult, because we all know our jobs, and everyone comes in with the idea that the other person doesn't understand the other person's job, when actually we're all trying to do the same thing. But we're all trying to put on a performance or record an album.
But there are sometimes those moments when, I fairly recently have marched in the interval of a show, marched up to the sound board and gone, right, show me what's what on this board. And they've gone, and I've gone, that's all wrong.
Yeah, but
that
now
is not
you can
properly.
Do gigs, and you can get on your phone your own mixes. You can just do it yourself.
Walking around with an iPad and a sort of pencil behind your ear.
In one way, I love it, but on the other hand, I hate it, because then I have to get to a venue and have to download something because each person uses a different app as well.
I know.
Different system. They all work slightly differently. But again, my job is I go into lots of different jobs. I think when you're with a regular team, it's a lot simpler that way.
It is. And I think that's where respect is at its peak there, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you know how people work. And the nice thing is, when you assemble a team, whoever is assembling that team, you're naturally going to go with the people that are the best at what they do,
of course.
And the best that you can get or afford sometimes.
And again, the rooms, like obviously recording somewhere like Abbey Road is pretty amazing. That first single I did, actually, the advert was done there.
Yes, I
think that was the first time I went into Abbey Road.
That's right.
But again, just the room size makes such a difference, and there's so many studios closing, and it's such a shame. Because, and again, in the olden days, I keep talking about the olden days. I wasn't actually even around in these days, but they'd have so much money that they could record an album for months.
Yep.
So you could just be in the studio, try stuff out. Let's write a song. Oh, let's change that. Let's get a singer in. Let's try some BVs on this. Let's get Eric Clapton down, man, to do a solo on this tune. Whereas you can't do that now. It's like you've got 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like set times, everything's done quickly, everything's so expensive.
But
pressure.
But then doing it at home now, things are so much cheaper. I mean, you think about what you need now. You know, you think about condenser microphones, and you're not. But you think about the cost of
ideas,
equipment, and sound desk and everything. Now you can buy for your home.
What did I say? Was it when we were talking about group singing and that kid sang out of tune, and then I came up with a part? If we weren't in the room together, the arrangement I would have done would be completely different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm arguing with myself here because I love recording from home on my own. It's so exciting. But then you do lose something. Yeah.
I think as long as you've got both experiences in your working life, it does work. But why not? Why wouldn't you invest in the equipment? I mean,
I think go and try stuff out as well. I mean, go and try different microphones. You can get some quite cheap microphones these days.
Yeah.
If there are any local places, I don't know, colleges, like you say, if there is a different department doing the technical side and you're on the performer side, ask if you can go in and try the microphones. Learn a bit about the other side because it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important because it's what's going to record your voice forever, and it's there forever.
Yeah. And I think so much more happens behind a closed door than we would ever understand or know. You know, often see like sound engineers and techies, you know, going around with their roll of electrical tape on their waistband, taping wires to stage to hide them. And you go, actually, what you do in that sound... I mean, some of those sound desks, you look at them and you need a degree in engineering just to turn the bloody thing on.
Yeah.
And
some of them turn up to a new venue without their own desk and have to quickly learn how to use someone else's. And you've got a full band going, I can't hear, I need the drums higher. And they're like, I haven't even set up your...
But it's a really highly honed technical skill that...
It is. But you've got to know, and again, each singer, I think, knows, because again, I do a lot of covering for other people. So I've turned up on gigs where I've got somebody else's mix, and I've had so many singers' mixes in my ears that just have themselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, where's the rest of the band? And where's the other singers?
That's the one bit I don't want often.
I want everything. I'm really annoying. I'm the worst person, like, when it comes to monitoring, because I'm like, I want it to sound like a record. Like, well, you know, we've got 10 minutes to a show time. No, I need everything. I want to hear everything because I like to be in, as we talked about, being in the moment, being in the zone. I want to feel it.
I do. And I've done shows where they've sort of, if there's been 3 keyboards in the pit, they've gone, I've given you a mix with the drums and 3 keyboards. And you go, yeah, but what about the other 13 people? I need them. I don't just want the 3 keys and drums. I come
in after the oboe line. I need that. But I need everything.
Sometimes you kind of do need that.
Yeah. That's where I get my note from.
But then that for me is often when like the relationship between the sound engineer and the musician is slightly strained, because you do get that needy, and you go, no, I'm not being needy. It's just I want to do my thing. And but then these days you've got your own in-ears half the time.
I mean, again, that's definitely more of a live problem. I think in the recording studio you've got a bit more time. There's less angst and panic about those things because, you know, everyone's just sat at the desk. They're there. They can play around with things for you and get the sound right, because it's really important because you're about to do a take, you know, whereas I think the energy of a live performance is quite stressful for everyone who's there, you know, because everyone's got a job to do. You've got a time limit. As you say, it has to be done by X o'clock, and then it's going to happen, whether you like it or not, whatever happens.
So if someone said to you, for the rest of your career, you can either do live or you can do studio work, which one would you do?
Live.
Okay, why?
I love being on stage with a group of musicians. Oh, I love it when they're brilliant musicians, and I can hear them playing against and with each other and working together and creating magic in that moment. Oh my gosh, it's the best feeling ever. It's different every time. Studio, what I'm pressing play, I'm going to hear it the same every time. I'm not bothered. Boring.
I feel like I've asked a really stupid question now.
No, some people love studio.
No.
Some people absolutely love just creating in the studio and making a track. And I used to love that. But there's just something about
people who have never done that kind of gig, or they'll never understand. And quite often I'll come home from playing for something and I'll go, that was brilliant performance. And it takes you an hour, 2 hours to just come down from that.
Absolutely.
And that's when you know you've been playing with good people. Because
don't ever watch those gigs back.
No.
Because they're never as good as how they felt.
No. It's like recording weddings and stuff. People, I go, no, don't record it, because the memory you have in that moment would be
so
perfect.
Much better.
And I find that often with recorded performances, you go, oh my God, and then you listen back and go, oh God, that's not quite
exactly.
mixed
And
right,
then the ones that actually you think were terrible aren't that bad, but it's like, it's a shame with all this recording, because those moments, that feeling is what's important, not looking back at it and judging yourself and like, it's gone.
Yeah.
Move on. That's what Dave always says. But if we mess up on Strictly, like if we do a proper bum, something terrible, and we look over and he goes, it's gone now. It's gone. He's fuming, but it's gone. It's gone. Move on. And you're like...
Move on. Speaking of which, it's time we moved on, because we need to wrap things up. We're being waved at again.
Oh, look at you. That was a good link.
I know, wasn't it just? I'm a pro,
you know.
I know, huh? Sum up what we've talked about in a word or two.
Oh, we've talked about everything.
We have.
Live, recording, Red Light Fever, all the shebang. Our wonderful technical crews and sound crews, our favourite. Thank you for giving us wonderful sound.
Exactly. So, subscribe, tick that box that says give us many notifications for new episodes, because we love making them. So if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, then pop a note in the comments and give us some ideas for things you want to hear about.
Absolutely.
Let's finish off.
Wrap it up.
I know.
Like a present.
I know, right? Join us next time on
Take It From the Top.